Ending it off with the performance, these things, as you guys probably didn't know yet, has the M1 chipset inside of it, but you also have a couple different variants of these things as well. You have the base 8GB of RAM option. So the base 2 models have 8GB of RAM, or the base 3 models, whatever, but they go up to 16GB of RAM for all the models. So that is an insane amount of depth and breadth that you have for these amount of iPads. I mean, whether you want the, bottom tier iPad or the top tier iPad, even if you get the base tier iPad, that is a ton of RAM. That is so much RAM that I don't even know what you're going to do with it, to be honest, because a lot of these iPads still only tap out at 5GB of RAM. All these iPads can only utilize 5GB of RAM for their apps. So whether you get the 8GB or 16GB, it'll allow you to hold more apps in the background, but the sheer performance of a single app on your display is not going to be affected until iPadOS 15 comes out and hopefully fixes this. That's another pretty big thing to keep in mind. The performance of these M1 iPad Pros though have been amazing. They're very smooth, very fast, almost instantaneous, speed improvements and all that stuff. But I will tell you, I did test my M1 iPad Pro against my iPhone 12 with an A14 bionic chip inside of it, and I found there to be a lot of, similarity. There wasn't really a crazy amount of difference. And I hate to say that because the M1 iPad Pro should have been like the fastest thing in the world. It's faster, but it's not really a crazy amount. Like my iPhone 12 was beating it in some cases. I wish that really wasn't the case, but we really don't have anything else to, go aside. The RAM portion of it though is definitely far better on the M1 iPad Pro. Not only did I find the apps, still maintaining, in the background of the M1 iPad Pro, but the speed in which they opened up in terms of the multitasking was a pretty big difference. I've always found with my iPhones, there's a little bit of like a glitch when I click on an app. The M1 iPad Pros, even though their first iteration, they handled it like a champ. It was a very smooth opening experience, and I think that also has to do with ProMotion. But regardless, I think the performance of the M1 iPad Pros is definitely one of the biggest assets, if not the best thing about the iPad Pros for sure. So in terms of that covers the performance.